Mhm. Okay, Tibor is coming from Auckland. Wonderful. We have Chloe from Montreal. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining from Melbourne, Australia. I'm wondering, what time is it for you there, Sue? What time is it for you now?
It's just gone 10:30 Friday morning. So
Wow.
it's good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good morning from the future then. You're logging in from the future and it's 12:36 for you in Auckland. Beautiful. Okay, usually I like to put music in the beginning, but I felt like today we could have some chit chat and get to know each other a bit more before we start off. I'm going to just check with a few who are logging in as well. And perhaps we can start so that we wouldn't take much time before we get going, and then take advantage of the Q&A section at the end, as well as the mastermind that we're going to have at the end. Perfect. Let me share screen. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from all around the world. Welcome to yet another coaching support group event. My name is Reem, and I'm super excited to have each and every one of you join us here tonight. In case you're watching the rerun of tonight's event, well, you're gonna miss out on a lot of activities and fun, but in case you're joining us live as well, this is gonna be one hell of an event for you. Not only do we have some major surprises happening at the end with the mastermind, but also we have an exceptional speaker that's joining us for tonight. Allow me to quickly share with you my screen to tell you a bit more about the coaching support group, introduce you to our beautiful team, and get to know what are these events and what are they all about. We are a support group and network for individuals and companies who are interested in coaching and personal development. This support group goes under the division of Noble Manhattan Coaching in the UK, which is one of the top leading coaching training companies in the world. The vision of our group is to create a community where we can inspire, empower, and educate anyone and anywhere through the power of coaching. So if you're looking to get any of these three pillars, you're in the right place. As you might have noticed, if you have attended previously to our events, this event happens every month. Every third Thursday of the month at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you haven't registered yet, please go ahead and register, because 2022 is going to be even fuller of events coming in for you. For everyone who's joining in, and if you're not active on our social media, please go ahead and contact with us, reach out to us on our social media pages, because that's where we share all the updates of our upcoming events as well. The recording of tonight's event will be posted on our YouTube channel, so make sure to check us out on the YouTube channel. All you have to do is write the name Coaching Support Group Montreal. You'll find all the videos of ever since we started and the videos of the upcoming events. So as I mentioned, tonight is going to be a very special event where we will have two sections. The first one is going to be with our amazing international speaker that I will be introducing in a few. And the second section will be the mastermind, where we will be helping you prepare yourself in the best tools, weapons that you will need for 2020. So give me some thumbs up if you're ready and excited for the evening. There you go. I see everybody excited. Finally, I want to welcome each and every one of you to our home. And in this home, we have a few rules that we go by. The first is that, as you noticed, this is going to be a recorded event. If you have any issue with keeping in the recording, or you would not like to be part of it, please let us know. But this is for your own benefit to watch it again. We have three values: integrity, leadership, and non-judgmental. So we make sure that each and every member abides by these values within our event. We would love to hear your thoughts in the chat. So don't be shy. At any moment, go ahead and write your questions for our speakers. Write whatever thoughts come up to your mind. We're going to have an engagement within the chat. And also, we would love to see your faces. So it doesn't matter where you are right now, what you're dressed up in. We would love to see your beautiful smiling faces if you are comfortable to open up your cameras. Most important rule of them all is for you to have fun. This is a place that's safe for you to express, to learn, but to also enjoy. So with that being said, I'm super excited to start off with the first section of the evening, that is with our speaker. When I first heard that our speaker is going to be joining us tonight, I could not believe it, because I myself was a fan of Mike, if I might say on that. There has been a long time where I've monitored and witnessed his journey. Mike Koenigs is a 13 times #1 best-selling author. He was called Marketeer of the Year. Mike is a serial entrepreneur, investor, judge on entrepreneur.com's elevator pitch TV show, and co-host of The Expert. His uncanny ability to provide actionable answers to today's business challenges in an entertaining and impactful way has put him in front of thousands of eager audiences across the globe. Having him tonight is going to be an exceptional honor for all of us too. Delivering relevant business insight is something a lot of keynote speakers do, but combining them with actionable, take at home and use it today value is not. And this is what Mike is going to bring to us tonight. He is an engaging, charismatic, and full of energy speaker. He is also a business marketing expert who provides serious solutions in a seriously actionable way. If you haven't even recognized yet who our speaker for the night is, allow me to open up and have him come up to the screen to introduce himself and let him tell you a bit more about himself. With a big round of applause, go ahead, unmute yourself, everyone. You can welcome in Mike to the screen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. That was very, very nice, Reem. I appreciate it. So here's what I'm going to do just to get things rolling is instead of me introducing myself, I'm going to show a 30-second mini video, and then I'll dive right in and tell you a couple stories. And my ultimate goal is, as you see, I'm going to share with you today how to reinvent yourself when you've outgrown who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. And more importantly, how on the journey you can produce really great, high-paying clients and also get the help and support you need to grow your business. So here goes. Here's a very quick mini video, and I'll be right back.
If you're watching and you're looking to take your income to the next level, or whether you're somebody that already owns a business and you're saying, hey, the world's changing. A lot of people are hanging on to their money now a lot tighter. How do I get new customers? How do I get the customers I have to be more engaged with me? How do I innovate? Today, I'm here to share with you, introduce to you a gentleman who's a dear friend of mine. He's helped me immensely. And the idea of how do I get my information out and engage my customers. He's been a dear friend, but more importantly, he's been a consultant to some of the biggest companies in the world. So I want to introduce to you Mike Koenigs, my dear friend. Welcome, Mike.
Well, there. Hi. Okay. So as I said, my goal today is to share some stories with you. And my goal, first of all, is just to get to know you a little bit better. So at any time, if you can tell me right now what you're doing for a living in addition to where you live, that always helps. If you're at home, well, you'll just have to follow along if you're watching a replay. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to share with you is if you're in a place you want to reinvent, you want to find better ways to earn more, to make more, and really understand what people want, I'm not only going to share a story of how you can reinvent yourself, I'm going to guide you through a 4-step system I use, and I've been teaching for years, that will teach you how to take someone from a place of desire, a place of want, or a place of reinvention themselves, ask them 4 simple questions, and they will want to work with you. And this goes for selling $5,000, $25,000, $50,000, even $250,000 or larger offers. And I'm going to share with you a couple real life case studies and also something you can model yourself. So the first thing I always recommend you do at this point is turn off your distractions. Also, make certain that you take lots of notes. I'm a big believer in using pen and paper whenever possible. But I love a phrase, it's a big idea, which is having someone raise their hand and say, tell me how we can start working together. So with that, I think one of the things that we all know right now, we've been living in this rapid world And during the pandemic, the world digitized, it dematerialized. And for some people, it's been difficult. And for other people's, it's been amazing, meaning our businesses grew. And I found that during that time, I actually had more international clients than ever before. But the big idea I want to start out with is people will pay you not for being a human doing, where you're doing tasks, not necessarily for being a human knowing, for having white collar skills, but for being a human being. In other words, getting paid for who you are versus what you do or what you know. And that one idea really shifted my consciousness about 3 years ago. And I think the important thing is when people ask you, what do you do? And if I asked you right now to type into chat, what do you do for a living? A lot of people would start describing a how process, not a result or an outcome or a benefit. And I have a short little story I'll show you right now, which is when Elon Musk started Tesla, the first car they produced was the Tesla Roadster. And the car cost $130,000. So if I were going to ask you right now, how could someone convince someone to buy that car in 3.7 seconds? If you have the answer, type it into chat. If you don't, in a moment, I'll tell you. But here it is. And just a quick, well, I'm going to actually let the video speak for itself. So here goes. I'm going to play this for you. So you ready? So you ready for 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds? Here goes. All right, so the answer is floor it. Okay, and that really, it comes down to how can you create an experience for someone? Because people will buy an experience. They will buy a result and outcome. And we oftentimes get stuck in the how. And that is the fastest way to devalue yourself and what you have to invest in, whatever it is. So part of what I'm going to share with you today is how to think differently about business in a way that's recession-proof, competition-free, and also allow you to reinvent yourself no matter where you are. And the magic words are for someone to say, I've been looking for someone just like you. How do we start working together? So the question to ask yourself right now is, what do you think you need in order to get to your next level in your life? In other words, what's holding you back, or what barriers must you break through? And that would be to reach $50,000 or $100,000 or even $1 million per month. And I don't know what your goal is. If you were going to tell me right now, like, what are your revenue goals from where you are to where you want to be? And again, whether it's a 6-figure, a 7-figure, an 8-figure income, no matter where you are, usually that next digit seems impossible. But what's holding you back is how you think. It's not what you do, and it's not what you know. And ultimately, the lifestyle you want and the impact and results. So I'm going to tell you 2 brief reinvention stories of my own here. One of them was about 8 years ago. I was diagnosed with stage 3A colorectal cancer. My doctors came in and told me I had 6 months to live. Ended up going through massive surgery, chemotherapy, and I ended up being treated. You can see the map down below. I live in San Diego. I was at Duke University Hospital, which is 2,521 miles from my home. I was waking up every day in a pile of my own hair, and it felt like I had broken glass in my body just from all the treatments. And with less than an hour of strength a day, I did something I always wanted to do, and that is I wrote my first book. I thought, if I'm going to pass as a result of this treatment, I'm going to write a book first. And prior to that, I had helped a lot of best-selling authors write books and market themselves. I had built and sold a couple software companies, but I felt like I have to write a book. So with less than an hour of strength a day, I wrote, I published, I promoted, I created a best-selling book. And as soon as I came back from the treatment, obviously I lived. The first thing that people asked me is, well, what did you do to survive? But secondly, how did you write that book so quickly, especially going through cancer treatment? And I turned it into a product. Well, that product became something called Publish and Profit. And I wound up teaching over 1,800 people how to write books, publish them, and become best-selling authors. And that evolved into helping people speak and sell, turn their ideas and knowledge into digital products. And I also started to media train them as well. It turned into a whole industry. So part of this is I took my mess of life and turned it into a successful experience. And the last book I wrote was called Cancerpreneur, which I'm holding up right now. It was my journey on how I managed to survive my cancer treatment. But the whole point is, what I've found is oftentimes what we seek in our lives, our next level, and who we are drawn to as coaches is we see someone that we want to model, we want to become like them. There's always going to be a past you searching for someone like you, as long as you're telling your story in a way that's interesting and attractive. So the point of the story is I survived cancer and I wound up cracking the code on writing, publishing books. And as a result, my book publishing business turned into a $9.5 million industry over a period of about 3 years. It was a great product, a great run. Now, there's also, besides cancer changing my life, that's my son, Zach, who's now 19 years old. And one of the things he used to always do is instinctively, he always held my hand everywhere we went. And he's always been a tall kid. He's 6'4" now, but you can see on the right, he's actually taller than me. And at that point, I asked him to hold my hand for the picture, but it was like there was a period of time he'd walk around holding my hand and he was 2 inches taller than me. But those were some of the best moments of my life. When someone would say, like, what lights you up more than anything? It's just being with my boy and also introducing him to some of my own life lessons and some of the things I did. Here I am, where I took him to a Tony Robbins event, for example. And that's a pretty recent family photo with my wife and Zach, who's significantly taller than me. But cancer was one thing that taught me about the preciousness of time. And it also, I'll share you a little lesson with you. So anytime someone would ask me something like, can I pick your brain? Can I take you out for coffee? Can we meet for lunch? The question I'd always ask myself is, how do I spend another moment with that boy holding his hand? Because that was what I missed most when I was going through chemotherapy. And so a very wise man once told me, you have 18 summers. Now, I'm done with my 18 summers. He's off to college. And that helped me decide what I would be willing to trade my time for in exchange for money. And it led my brain to help me determine and figure out how to get more for who I was, not what I did or what I knew. So right now, my fees are $7,000 per hour, $35,000 a day, and $250,000 and more when I work as an advisor or an equity advisor for business owners. And one of my philosophies is, if I don't help you 2 to 10x your investment so you get an ROI, that's number one. Rule number 2 is I don't work with people who are cheap on their way to success. And another big lesson is, if you don't pay attention. In other words, if you're giving away your time right now, you will wind up broken. And I believe in charity, but I also draw the line on working with broken people. I hope that makes sense. And the key is, if you want to get to the highest level possible, you've got to be very cautious about who you invest your time with as clients and customers. Okay. And they won't respect you if you give away your time as well, especially as a coach. So I think the bottom line, the big secret here is, nothing is worth selling your soul or your family time or compromising who you are and what you do along the line. And busy almost killed me and killed my relationship with my wife and my only son, And my first business cost me a marriage. My second and third businesses nearly cost me my life, my marriage, and my relationship with my only child. And I think that if it's balance you seek, having these core values are critically important. It's what I've noticed in my most successful clients as well. So the bottom line is, when you're at a decision point and you truly want more from your life, no matter where you are in your reinvention portion of your life, to go from being a human doing to a human knowing, to not just being a human being, but the highest state of being human is to be a human expression, to be rewarded for expressing yourself authentically. And that, I think, is the journey we're all on together. And I have found that by sharing a story like this, an authentic journey, it's one of the things that bring the most people and the highest quality clients into my life. So that was a recent test. I am cancer-free, continue to be after 8 years. So let me give you a couple of other big lessons. And this, I'm going to do this before I guide you through my 4-question close, which can be used to enroll anyone into any product, no matter what it is. The first thing is, there's oftentimes 3 reasons why people don't decide to say yes to working with you. And the first one is chaos and drama. I have found that people who are ineffective are addicted to chaos and drama. So for example, I was living a cancer lifestyle before I was given that fabulous gift. And there's always going to be noisy things happening around you. And if people say, I'm too busy or it's not time, that is a big excuse. Everyone's always going to have a reason why they can't. The next one is our fear of success. As generic as that sounds, the reason why this happens is we get stuck in success loops or failure loops. So we get stuck in what we know, and we get used to doing instead of being. And I found when I remind people of what the possibilities are, and I'm going to share the secret to that in this close, it's people fear not of the system failing them, but of them failing the system. And when you show up differently in a space of asking the questions I'm going to share with you, it literally will rearrange the way people respond and react to you when you enroll them in a coaching program, no matter what level it is. Like I said, I don't care if it's $5,000, $50,000, or $250,000. My minimum package these days is $75,000 for 3 days. Next, anytime someone uses the story of, I don't have money, I can't afford it, or I need to get stable first, I'm going to share a story with you right now, and hopefully you can model it yourself. But I invested at the worst time in my life when I was hurting. And I know a lot of famous people who visibly look rich, but they're actually broke, and they're stuck, and they've been that way for years. And we live in cynical times now. The world is jaded. And the key to getting people past the resistance phase of making a decision is by asking better questions, which is what I'm going to share with you in a moment. Here's my brief story. I had my first company. It was called Digital Cafe. It was one of the first digital advertising businesses. And we had great clients. We had companies like Sony and BMW and General Mills. But the problem with those big companies is they didn't pay on time. And they got so behind that at one point I was paying my employees with credit card checks. Basically, I was kiting credit card checks. I was paying my credit card bills with credit cards. And I was living on a Super America gas card. This is a photo of a Super America in St. Paul, Minnesota, where I lived at the time. And I saw a friend go through a very tremendous transformation himself. And in 6 months, he went from a failed college student, definitely an alcoholic, to quitting drinking, becoming a vegan, writing a book, starting to speak all over the world. And it all happened in 6 months. And I was like, what happened? And he said, Tony Robbins. I started going to Tony Robbins events. So that day, I vowed the next time I'd see Tony Robbins on a commercial, I'd buy his product. And at that point, I'm $250,000 in debt. Can't pay my bills. I'm living in a crappy apartment in St. Paul. And I walked in, opened up my mailbox, and you'll never guess what was inside, but a brand new credit card with an $8,500 limit on it. So that night, I swear to God, I went upstairs, I turned on the TV. I don't know how I still had cable. And Tony Robbins was talking on a commercial, and I bought his product right there. And then I had it rush delivered. 48 hours later, I was listening to at the time, a CD, and I heard Tony. It was like he was speaking to me. Inside was a ticket to call up and register for Tony Robbins' event. I picked up the phone. I called. This guy answered and took my order, and I racked up the rest of my credit card to go to a Tony Robbins event. And to make a long story short, I remember going to that event, and I was horrified to see a bunch of people jumping up and down, giving each other massages and screaming. And I thought, what the hell does this have to do with getting better and making more money? I was dumbfounded and I was angry, but I decided finally that I was going to implement and just follow the steps and dive in. And if you fast forward a few years later, the person who answered the phone was married to Pam Hendrickson, who's in the top left, who had been responsible for creating all of Tony Robbins' products. When I moved to San Diego, the first person I called was Chris Hendrickson, met his wife, we became fast friends, and they learned about what I had done with my software company. By then, I had sold my business, started a new one, and was very successful. And Pam said, would you help Tony with his marketing? He really needs help. And there you can see Tony was in my studio. I ended up being featured in a product by him. And as a result, that put my career in fast forward. And the point of this was, I took my biggest failures and I turned them into my biggest successes. And that constant evolution, just storytelling, gave me access to customers who basically wanted to model what I had done. And that's why I'm telling you, like, no matter where you are, there's someone further behind than you. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, and they'll pay you to help them. And so when the first stop I had from Duke, after I had cancer, after I wrote my book, I was asked to speak at Tony Robbins Business Mastery. So there I am at the front of the stage. I weighed about 137 pounds. My normal weight's about 185. I had half my hair. I was gray from the chemo, and I'm still on morphine. And I had 2 radiation treatments the day before to be on that stage. But that was part of what kept me alive. But it also got me one of the biggest standing ovations I've ever had in my life, is going through that transformation. So the key lesson here is, I'm sure you've heard this before, proximity is power. If you take the top 5 people you spend your time with, you sum up their income, divide by 5, that's probably your annual income. And the key is to get any further in life, taking that big leap of faith, if you're really serious, is what gets you there. So what I'm going to do right now is move on into the setup for the 4-question close, probably the most valuable part of what I'm going to share with you today. So I think there's 2 key things here. There's achievers and there's performers. High achievers got to where they are by doing. They're systemizing their checkbox. They're driven by SOPs. But if they get stuck, their creativity dies. And high performers get to the next level by being dynamic and being stuck in the how, focusing on the how versus focusing on the being, is what differentiates the achievers who do and the performers that be. And people can feel you when you are in being mode versus doing mode. I don't know how else to communicate that, but it's about really living into what it is you represent as a coach. So when I really understood this, a lot of my life I spent creating products, creating services to help people do things better. And a few years ago, 3.5 years ago, I had just decided I was going to quit everything, sell everything, and I needed a break. So I packaged up and sold my business, and it was really miserable before that. I actually, for the first time in my life, had real depression, could not get out of bed, and I didn't have a reason to feel that way. I just felt that way. And if you've ever suffered from depression or severe anxiety, you understand what I mean. It's nothing you have control over. And we live in a world now where many, many people are suffering from this. But what broke me out of the spell was I was trying to convince someone to work with me, and I was going to do a whole bunch of things for them. And I asked them a really deep question. It's part of the 4-question close I'm going to share with you. And I found that what they really needed to get to their next level were new relationships, more connections. And at the time, I had been an investor in a company, Bulletproof Coffee, and they had an annual event. And I know Dave Asprey really well. And what I said is, what if I take you to this event and I'll introduce you to all the people who will help you sell and distribute your product in one day? They said that would be remarkable. And I said, well, it's going to be $25,000. And I was going to go anyway. They said, yes. And the bottom line is I got paid $25,000 to walk away, connect with and hug and talk to people I loved and introduce some people who really needed help. And that transformed my life. It got me to think differently about the tools and the resources I had accessible to me. And we are all one connection, one relationship, someone else's permission away from something that could truly change our life. And that was one of my big takeaways there. And I didn't feel special at the time. So if you think back for a moment, if you could pop into a time machine 10 years or 20 years ago, what would you do knowing what the future would be that would put you in a completely different place than you are right now? Now, you might say, well, I'd invest in Apple or Google or Facebook or Bitcoin. That'd be pretty good. You could probably be worth $1 billion right now, with a couple of dollars in Bitcoin back about in 2007. But the best investment you can ever make is an investment in your capabilities, your consciousness, the connections, and your unique ability. And I am absolutely convinced that we are all one phone call, one introduction, one idea, one strategy away from a full transformation that multiplies who we are as human beings. And that's really what coaches do. So I'm going to show you how to make anyone want you, your products, and your services. First, a little setup, which I think is important right now. I'm curious, inside chat, just tell me who has a podcast or regularly shows up on podcasts right now by show of hands. Okay. Now I'm in 2. Good. I see Reem. One's called The Big Leap with the incredible Gay Hendricks. If you're not familiar with Gay Hendricks, he's written over 40 books. Unbelievable, wise man. He's 76 years old. He's just a genius. That's called The Big Leap. Subscribe and download. The second is with one of my great mentors who I can only describe as, imagine having a best friend, brother, father, grandfather, and mentor all rolled in one, Dan Sullivan, who started Strategic Coach. And Dan, when I was in my darkest time and I needed help, he gave me some advice, which led into the 4-question close I'm about to share with you right now. And Dan has something called the Dan Sullivan question. Okay. And the question goes like this. Write this down. If you and I were meeting here 3 years from today, looking back at those 3 years, what has to have happened during that period for you to feel happy about your progress? Okay. Now, this is a really, really, really powerful question, but I kind of repurpose it a little bit. So this is exactly word for word what I do when I meet someone and want to coach them. Okay. And this works and it doesn't matter what level of expertise you have, it just flat out works. So the first thing that's very important is you have to get very heart associated and really connect. It works on Zoom. It works in person. You can meet someone at a coffee store. After you start your initial banter, you ask them, and they'll say, so what do you do? And you go, well, I help people. And then what? I fill in the blanks here. So for me, I say, I help people reinvent themselves, increase their value, create by packaging and positioning them and creating the messages that make people want to work with them and pay 10 times more than they've ever charged before. And I do it in 3 days. And I go, wow. So I might say something like there, Reem says, I help people glow professionally and personally, right? So here's what you would say to them is you would say, so imagine that you and I were to start working together today, and I teach you everything I know and do everything I can to help you get results. Now imagine we're sitting in a coffee shop a year from now. What would have happened in your life, both professionally and personally, for you to feel happy with your progress? And what would make you believe that this was the best decision you've ever made? I'm going to tell you why this is such an important mechanism. It's because they're imagining working with you to get an outcome, a result, or benefit. Okay, so that's question number one. Question number two, and you listen and you write it down and you take notes. And what I do is I repeat what I hear. And then question number two is, well, why don't you have it yet? What's been standing in your way or holding you back? Okay. Now, and they'll start talking and you'll say, what else? What else? What else? And then you repeat and you go, well, it sounds like what I understand you're saying to me. The reason you don't have it yet is because you haven't had the right connection. You don't know what to say. Not enough people know who you are, or whatever it is. I don't have the right tools. I don't have the right team. Okay, great. Question number three is, I want you to think for a moment about resources, connections, talents, or skills that you have access to that you're not using 100% that we could use to help you overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals. If I helped hold you to a high standard and help you implement and get those things done, in other words, what you're effectively saying is, I will be accountable with you, not for you, but with you. Now, what I've found is that most people already have resources and connections, talents, or skills, but they're afraid to ask for help. So in other words, you have access to all the things you need to solve your biggest challenges and get what you want right now. And by just utilizing these resources, connections, talents, and skills, and finding out what's standing in their way, which is always obvious when you're listening to them. And by the way, you don't solve their problem while they're talking to you. All you're doing is listening and repeating back. And the fourth question is, do you want me to help you solve that? Do you want me to help you achieve what your goal is? And again, you're just repeating back what they told you in the very beginning. This is a universal close formula. And it sounds so unbelievably simple, but it's amazingly effective. So I literally just repeat back a once upon a time, there was someone just like you who wanted what you have, had all the problems that you have, and along came a mentor, someone named Yoda or Gandalf, who guided you to the promised lands, helped you slay the dragon so you could live happily ever after. That is the hero's journey. And when someone hears that with their stuff filled in between, they will say, yes. Okay. Now from there, I have them open up their calendar and schedule their first appointment with me before I tell them what the investment is. They commit to the time right there, to the first meeting. And they've already imagined working with you when they answered the first question. That is the beauty of this model. Okay. So I'm going to show you what happened when I started doing very high-end advisory work, when I stopped selling digital information products and speaking on stage and running around and selling digital products, which just about killed me. One of them was a doctor. And I basically taught her this exact model. And she went, and I just told her, double your prices. So she went from $1,500 to $3,100. Then she added a $5,000 program. And then I said, create a $25,000 program. And she's like, well, what should I put in it? And I said, just add more and help people imagine what healthy feels like and looks like. Okay. And this was literally copied and pasted right from her email. There it was. And then, yeah, she sold her first $25,000 program. That was an email right from her. This is another doctor I worked with. Same thing. She was doing $5,000 program. She just implemented this 4-question process. And yes, Reem, I will summarize it again. Okay. So she doubled her prices more than. She went from $5,000 to $11,000. Okay. Mari Carmen used to do a $25,000 program. Now she misunderstood my friend and I when we walked her through this process. We just told her to go to, to make it 42,000, and she misunderstood and asked for $420,000. Okay. So the point is, what's limiting you right now is your willingness to ask for more and our fear of our lack of value. And we have to remember that someone else's perception of value is very different than ours. Okay. There's another one. This is another medical practice. And my last one here, this is Joey Osborne. He literally left my studio. This is my studio, by the way. I don't know if you can see inside. He was with me yesterday here, where we invented a brand new business. He just sold a company and walked away with a multiple 8 figures in his bank account. Okay. Now that's over $10 million. And in his case, a lot more than that. And he's 61 years old. And I said, what are you going to do next? And he's like, I don't know, but I don't want to quit. And I know what happens to 61-year-olds when they retire, meaning they usually die fast because they lose their purpose. They lose their meaning. And I said, I've got an idea. Why don't we find other Joeys and help them sell their businesses too? And we built a business where now he's advising people who are about 3 years behind him, and he helps business owners get bought by private equity companies just like he did. He's in the land of the blind. The one-eyed man is king. He just did it. And, most people would say, well, I only did it once. That doesn't matter. And it's like, no, guide someone through success to success. So, I'm going to answer Reem's question here and summarize the 4-question close for you. Okay. So you can write these down. The first question is, imagine you and I started working together today, and I help you get blank, 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 and blank, whatever your brand promise is. Okay. So Reem says, I help people glow professionally and personally. I will just tell you right now, glowing professionally and personally, I don't know what that means. So you got to get a lot more specific. It's sort of like, if it would be, I help you attract higher quality opportunities, better customers, and feel different. So you are magnetically attractive to your perfect customer. Okay. That's meaningful and an outcome, and someone interprets what that means. That is an outcome. So that's what I would say. So imagine I helped you do that so you could double your income in a year and simplify your life so you get more of what you want and more of what you need. So you can spend more time with your family, love your spouse more, be a better parent, and really feel happy. Really feel happy. Now imagine you and I were to get together 1 year from today. What would need to happen personally and professionally for you to feel that working together was the best investment, the best decision you've ever made? The reason that's such a powerful question is because they're imagining working with you. They're imagining receiving an outcome and doing it with you as a guide. They are selling themselves on working with you by answering that question. It's so incredibly powerful. It's a future focused. It is very, very powerful NLP. That's number one. Number two is, why don't you have it yet? Number three is, think about what kind of resources, tools, connections, relationships, and capabilities you have, but you're not using them fully, that could help you achieve your goal. And if you want to, you'd say that I can help you use and do and get, okay? So again, they're imagining themselves doing it with you. And then say, do you want me to help you? And you just play back the movie. Here's what you want. Here's what's holding you back. Here's some things that you have that you're not using. Do you want me to help you get there? And I will tell you right now, I don't care what your close, what your conversion rate is right now, this will for sure double the number of people who say yes. In my case, I have enrolled people in less than 5 minutes, and the next day have wire transferred $75,000 to me before. Okay. First time they ever meet me, short conversation, because it's so effective. Of course, you're going to have some credibility that comes over time. You build that by telling good stories. All right. So with that, I do have one offer that I can share with you. If you'd like to see something that I did as my own therapy when I went through my last reinvention, I actually created a course. I documented my reinvention, and I did it with Pam Hendrickson. So if I have your permission, I'll show it to you right now and give you a chance to play with me a little bit. So what it is I went through my own reinvention. I documented it, and I put together an event. At the time, it was $10,000 to attend this thing. And I invited some people I had worked with over the years. And it's all about reinventing yourself. It's about packaging and positioning you and your products better. It's about integrating your messaging, attracting higher quality customers, and then increasing your value. And I really break down the 4-question close, and I do it from stage. But it ended up saving me a lot of time. And some of the people that I shared were actually in the audience. I had them present and talk about their own breakthroughs. And then I have some extra tools. One of them is something I invented. I call it Money Phone, but it's a way to create micro commitments to activate people to want to have a conversation with you, so you can enroll them using the 4-question close. So it's a step-by-step system for just getting hand raisers. I also have a tool, I call it's Zoom Tips. It's 25 strategies I use to look great on Zoom, sound awesome. And there's also a guide that you can use to just look, sound awesome, and present awesome all the time. I also have a strategy for how I generate LinkedIn customers, which most people are horrible at, by the way. But it's how I activate and get people interested with conversations. I have how to set up a home studio with the equipment recommendations. And I actually wore the same jacket as in that video today, just for you. I have another segment on LinkedIn automation. And basically, here's what you get. There's a membership site that you'd have instant access to, how to reinvent yourself and your business in 48 hours. I have email templates in there that you can copy paste. A tool that I use to create, in this case, $1 million in attendees to the last big live event I did. So I'm giving you some of my best copy I've ever written. How to clarify and differentiate a message. In other words, how do you get right fit people to want you? How to develop a product if you want to produce a product like the one you're going to see. I have a full segment on speaking and presenting. I've been doing it now for 25 years. How to market your product and business. How to brand yourself. I have an exceptionally talented designer I've worked with for over 12 years who I had come in. My closing strategy and scripts, which is the 4-question close. I actually add some additional goodies in there, and then some bonuses. So the bottom line is it's a single investment. It's $497. Like I said, when I did it live, it was $10,000, but it's at paidforlife.com/reinvent. So I believe I have, I should be right about on time, hitting the 45-minute limit here. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, that's the link. We'll put it in chat. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope this was meaningful and helpful and useful to you, and you'll be able to enroll someone brand new right away.
That was excellent, Mike. Thank you so much for showing you all the love and the appreciation for you taking the time to share all of this. I personally am going to take the 4 questions and try to apply them to change my own branding as well. I would like to encourage everyone. I can see Karim has a question, so we're going to start up with the Q&A now. And then give it a try, everyone. Try to use the questions that we just mentioned. Do your own, and then we're going to share them with each other. So Karim, I'm going to give it up to you. If you have a question, go ahead for it.
Hi, Sumaya. It was an amazing talk. I learned so much from it. So thank you so much for taking the time to explain everything. My question is really about closing deals specifically. It's hard to put into words, but what I'm trying to ask you is that if you have the 2 people needed, the person who needs a service or product and the person who can give it, and you're trying to do a joint venture between them.
Yes.
Or you're opening a service and you provide the value, but you're right now in front of the person and you want to tell them, why don't you sign up to our, service? How do you get the yes? Like, how do you, I think like I'm at that phase where I'm transitioning into, I've built the, the requirements, whatever, but how do you get the person, like to actually pay for your product or to really do it, what is required for that last step?
Great. So I'm going to first suggest that number one, the most important thing is they are qualified. They're a qualified buyer, and they're a right fit. And they need to indicate that they want something. And that's where I roll right into the 4 questions. What do you want? What would life be like? And they answer that. And you're going to know if it doesn't feel right, you'll get very sensitized after you do this a few times. And one thing I know, I'm going to give you an advanced tip, but I have found, are you familiar with the Kolbe personality profile before? I'm sure you've heard of like the DISC profile or Myers-Briggs. Kolbe is Kolbe. There are 4 indicators. One of them is whether or not you are a fact finder. So that's on a 1 to 10. Next is follow through. 3rd is quick start. And 4th is implementer. I have found that 8 or 9 or 10 quick starts are perfect people because they're the people who are like, I just want it now. I want to get it done. I'm the kind of person who makes fast decisions. If someone asks tons of questions, they suck as customers, especially as coaching clients. They'll be like, I got to ask another question. Well, I'm not sure. And then I'm going to have to think about it. Those people suck. Don't even talk to them. Waste of time. Okay. They have to be someone who's in pain. So my perfect profile are 8, 9, or 10 quick start, low implementer, usually low follow through, meaning they're not that good at following up and following through. They're just get it done, make fast decisions. I want results now, people. And so if they're like, I found like attorneys, for example, crap customers, they're just horrible. Accountants, people who are really detail-oriented, bean counters, they suck. They're like, they want to know step by step. They're all how. So that's the first thing is you got to pick and talk to the right kind of people. Okay. So business owner, founders, entrepreneurs, those are high quick start. People who are employees who are stuck, they've been stuck for 25 years. Can't fix them. Not worth it. All right. So having said that, the answer to your question is you ask the questions and you've got to be enthusiastic and really feel like you can do it. So how you're showing up matters. And then when you get to the 4th and you replay the movie starring them as the hero with you as their Yoda, okay, that is the secret. And you'd say, that's what it's like to work together. So the first thing we do is schedule an implementation conversation, like an implementation call or Zoom or meeting. Open up your calendar and does this day or this day work best for you? Okay, you're assuming the close and you get a commitment for the day. They go like, well, this one does. And if that doesn't, if that one and that one doesn't work, then say, what about this one or this one? You give them this or that decisions. Okay, so they're committed to a day and time. And you'd be like, okay, so then the next step is, and you explain what your package includes. So if there's another step, you get a second tier commitment. Then you'll say, now the investment is $25,000. What I need is a $5,000 deposit right now. I can take a credit card. The balance can be done by wire transfer. And then you shut up. No talking, no discounts, no deal making. You just wait. And if they're like, okay, let's go. So the commitment is critically important. And that, I'm telling you, that is worth $1 million to you if you implement it just the way I described. But if you talk too much, that shows you're nervous. If you start dealing and you start discounting before they even say no, and if someone's not committed, they'll be like, well, it's too much. If they start wish-washing, or they're like, I don't take payments, for example. Horrible customers. If you know they're a strong candidate and they're like, I can't do 25 grand. You say, well, here's what we could do. We could do a rapid, quick start blank. It's a investment of $5,000. And if I decide you're a right fit for the program, I'll let you roll that into the full package. You see what I just did?
Yeah, like giving them an exchange commitment. So they've already committed something small, so they're more likely to continue with you.
I risk reversed and I keep the power. I don't put the power in their hands. If I think you're right for my program, I will let you roll that into the full program. I don't say if you decide, don't give up your power ever. That makes sense? Okay,
Amazing.
you just muted yourself. All right.
Yeah. No, it was very helpful. Yeah, go ahead, Liam.
It's a wonderful question, actually. I was also thinking about that because that's something we also deal with when we're closing with clients. Rima, you wanted to go up next. We're going to have you share your 2 cents.
I wanted just
Hi,
to ask,
Rima.
hi, Mike, how are you? It was really nice hearing you. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to ask you actually a question because I'm not a coach, but I'm in network marketing. So there's also the leadership side and the coaching side that kicks in. Do you think your questions still apply the same way, or would you say something that would be different?
Nope. I would effectively say, I want you to imagine that you and I start working together and I coach you. I help you grow a huge downline like what I've done and how I've helped other people before and help you achieve your financial goals. So I want you to imagine that we were celebrating together a year from now. You've grown your business as large as you want it. You've got more income. You're spending more time with your friends, your family. You've got more time off. You paid off your debt. What needs to happen for you personally and professionally for you to feel that joining this program was the best decision you've ever made? Okay. So you're going to trigger them with things you already know they want. Okay. I'm going to give you something called the trifecta right now.
I'm taking notes.
A perfect product.
Yeah.
A perfect product consists of the following 3 things. And I don't care if you're selling a car, coaching, a hat, get paid, get laid, live forever. Write that down. Get paid, get laid, live forever. What do I mean by that? Every product is selling you money at a discount. In other words, financial success, or being more attractive, more desirable, having more authority, having more presence, more charisma, being more likable. We all want to be liked. We want to be part of the tribe. Okay. That's the get laid part. And live forever is quality of life or lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. The trifecta and in network marketing, if you tell the story right, is I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help. You are going to go to some of the coolest parties with some of the coolest people. You're going to be part of a family you choose, not the one you were born into. someone who supports you and is there for you all the time, giving you some love that you're looking for, and also moving up in the ranks. It's so awesome when you receive this award, and imagine how much extra time you're going to have. Imagine the quality of life, being able to invest in your health, getting in the best shape of your life. Okay. It's get paid, get laid, live forever. I only say that because it's easy to remember, but it's always money, status, authority, likability, quality of life, lifestyle.
I'll share what I had written before. Imagine I start working with you today and I help you develop a global business in health and wellness that you can take with you anywhere you go, giving you freedom of time, empowering community, a healthier body and mind, leverage of time, and a leadership and mentorship role without an income cap. I mean, I guess, you know,
it's very close. Here's the key. It's very, very good. It's very good. What you want to do is make it more colloquial, meaning use the language and the messaging of the person you're speaking with.
Yeah.
You know, loosen it up. If it takes two glasses of champagne, you know, you got to connect, you got to seep in, you got to lead, show them the leadership, show them the path. Just make it real and authentic. Now I'm going to give you one piece of advice, which is, network marketing is a very difficult long-term business to sustain. And it's hard to differentiate the product, right? And know that someone else, it's sort of like if you market on Facebook, Facebook can screw you anytime they want. Instagram can screw you anytime they want. They're just like, piss them off, they shut you down.
Yeah.
So you always want to have your list. Never trust those people. They're not your friend, and never trust an MLM company. Eventually they break. So I think, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying anything bad.
No,
why do I say
that?
I've spent a lot of time in the direct response marketing business, and I know a lot of the founders of MLM companies, and a lot of them are shysters.
But are we talking about established over like 40 years?
Many. Yeah. I know a lot of founders of these organizations, and I don't trust them. Don't trust the people. But I'm not saying anything bad. It's like, if it works for you, God bless your soul. If you're successful at it, awesome. I know a lot of people have done very, very well.
I love my company.
And it's good. If it works for you and they're ethical.
I believe in my company. I believe in the leadership of the company. That's
then you got a winner. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're all bad.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a lot of bad ones out there. So as long as, you know, it's
of
like,
course there are lots of bad ones out there. Definitely.
But when you have your own and you control it and you control your product and you're differentiated, I've worked with plenty of people, and I help them basically build coaching programs for MLM people.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's whatever works for you. Again, I don't have a bias. I'm not trying to influence you. It's just like, always take care of you and make sure you own your connections and relationships.
Of course. It's a networking job. You got to work for it.
Yes, you do. And if you're built
I'm
for that,
I'm just becoming better, honestly, as a person by growing my business. This is how I deal with it. That's it.
I love it. Good for you. Very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm going to take one more question so that we can start wrapping up with Mike, and then we can go into the mastermind. Who would like to come up and ask a question or share whatever you came up with using the questions that Mike mentioned? Don't be shy. He's here for the whole night with us. So go ahead and ask your questions. I'm going to check in to see if anyone has sent me. Go ahead, guys. All right, Chloe.
Hi,
Chloe,
can you hear me?
But we can't see, I can hear you. We can't see your face.
Yes, I'm going to show my face.
Woohoo!
Yeah, sorry, I've been working all night, so I didn't have time to pamper, if you will.
No, you're fabulous. That's great.
All right.
How can we help?
So I wanted to ask you, when was the toughest period of your career and your personal life, and how did you manage this period of your life? Because those are the times where you're asking yourself, will I continue what I'm doing in life, or will I reinvent myself, as you've previously said and done, actually, right, with your various companies? So I was wondering, what would be your answer?
Yeah. Well, so I'll give you a couple and I'll tell you what they all have in common, because that I think is the answer you're looking for versus the first one. So my first big struggle, I grew up in a very, very small town where I felt like an alien my whole life. I did not belong in a little tiny town called Eagle Lake, Minnesota. And I'm horrible at school, severe ADHD, and I'm not good with authority. And my parents sent me to a parochial school, and I was not built for structured religion. And so I taught myself how to program. So figuring out how to not conform and honor who I was a struggle. And then I started a very unusual business, which became very mainstream, but I started one of the first digital marketing agencies in the world. I worked constantly. I was always afraid of running out of money, not having enough, not being enough. I had a lot of little demons running around, and I ended up getting divorced. And it was rotten what ended up happening. I was married to a beautiful human being. We weren't a good match, but I just wasn't around. I wasn't paying attention. And that was a big kick. And then that business started to fall apart and fail. That's when I discovered Tony Robbins, and then started another company, and I built it, and I got cancer, and I ended up having two partners. One of them we had to buy out for millions of dollars. The other one wanted to leave, and he wanted to take money when we didn't have any. It was like a real struggle. And then a few years ago, when I sold that, the company that bought us tried to screw me. And that was painful. I wasn't prepared for it. And then finally, when I sold the last business, that's when I was depressed. And it was sort of like God screaming at me saying, you've got to quit doing this. Get off this rat race. It will kill you if you keep on going. And I had gotten so good at what I was good at, I couldn't imagine doing anything different. And in every single case, and this is the answer to your question, the hardest times were when every fiber of my body said, you've done as much as you can do here. It's time to move on. And when I resisted that and tried to stay, and I think that's what leads a lot of people to panic disorders, anxiety, depression, chemical abuse, weird things that happen. If you become a sex addict or get yourself in trouble, it's when the universe is saying, you've got to stop and enjoy this beautiful illusion of life and love. Being busy doesn't get you joy, satisfaction, and happiness. And what I did that helped the most is I got a coach. I have invested millions of dollars now in people who've gone to places I haven't. I asked for help. I became a student, implemented, and I felt naked and stupid all over again. And realizing that when you feel naked and dumb and you're the dumbest person in the room, that's when you're going to grow and learn the most. And when I adopted that childlike mindset, and I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I don't know. I need help. That has been the secret and the key. Coaches need coaches.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
You're
because
welcome.
You often make the client talk, but now I made you talk. So I just wanted to turn the tables around. Thank you.
Good job. Congratulations. And I love I love that Bay Bridge, by the way. I'm actually going to be up there on Saturday. I'm going to the French Laundry in Napa Valley. So I'll be in San Francisco with a friend before I go there.
Amazing. I wish I could come with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I get an extra seat at the best restaurant now. There we go.
Thank you.
Cheers
Oh, you're
in
welcome.
advance.
All right.
Thank you very much, Chloe, for jumping in. That was a very powerful question. Anyone would like to give a last word, the last question before we jump into the next part of our session for the evening? There's a few people that I didn't hear much from tonight. If you guys want to jump in and ask questions, we're going to allow for 1 or 2 more maximum questions. Anyone has anything to say, to ask? Don't be shy. Even if you ask, you can already ask another question. Don't worry. This is your chance.
All right.
Going once. Andrian, we have someone who unmuted themselves. Go for it.
I want to thank you, Mr. Koenigs, because a lot of things you explain could be new or not new, could be very good reminders, depending who we are. But when I think back to everything I heard, I think it's a thank to getting older, because we understand so much things and we can look back and understand that we thought this was the good path and then it's not, and we try something else, and then a lot of messages we receive from TV, radios, social networks is that young is always something so nice, but to get older, to know ourselves more, to know other people more, to understand more the relationship between human beings. All those things for me is possible only if we get older. So you were a very nice example of getting older with the good and nice side of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. It's if there's something I chose not to struggle with, part of it is I spend my time with older people now. My greatest mentors, two of my best friends, are Dan Sullivan, who's turning 78 in May, and as I said, Gay Hendricks, who's 76 or 77. I think he's 76 right now. And my parents are fading. They've nearly passed. And so as we go through these phases of getting closer, we're closer to the end than we are to the beginning. I think it's important to always stay relevant, and we do that by creating as much impact as possible and by being useful. And Dan Sullivan says something that's so powerful. He says, when we quit being useful, the universe has a funny way of asking for its parts back. And so I think honoring our age and always, it's hard to communicate to younger people. I got a 19-year-old, and it's like, I don't like communicating to him in the way he wants to be communicated to. His generation communicates through Snapchat. They'll all be in a room together and they're texting each other instead of talking. It seems absurd, but you know what? That my judgment doesn't have anything to do with their reality. And I think we have to find an effective way to communicate in a way that's interesting and exciting, and to learn how to influence and be charismatic and be adaptable, and ask ourselves the question, why does that bother us so much? It's easy to fall into a groove as we age, and honoring ourselves as elders, as well as honoring the youth, and not thinking that we've got it all figured out, it's having that child's mind. It's taking on the Buddha mindset, I think, is important. So thank you for that. That was very, very thoughtful. It's clear that you are a deep thinker. So I appreciate you being here
and
tonight.
all myself. And
that's good.
I just want to add one thing.
Yes.
Maybe 15 years ago, I was in a place that their TV was there. It was the day before New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked to different people what we wish for people for the new year. And I said, I wish that everybody will find their way to stay useful. And this is the part that they showed at the TV show. So to be useful is, was, and will be very important for everybody, I think.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank
much for your answer.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Mr. Koenigs. I just asked you really quickly if I can sneak in a question. My question is about care. Being someone who is a life coach or someone who cares about the empowerment of other people, it sometimes weaves into your conversation. You know, you're hanging out with someone you barely know. You might, highlight the positive in them, and therefore you might come off as somebody who is, over complimenting, over supporting and stuff. And basically, in the law of communication, whether you're trying to close a deal or you're trying to, you're seeing somebody on a date or whatever, there's a cold aspect that's important. There's a push and a pull. And if you're too complimentary to, oh, this is amazing about you, this is wonderful about you, it sometimes cheapens your value. And I find it confusing how to balance between my nature as a coach, but my nature of wanting to win. And I want to ask you how you regulate that. Do you only always be positive with family, for example, and don't do that only with friends? Like, how do you know when to be coachy and when to, play cold and all that?
Yeah, God, that's a really, really, really good question. So I'll first say my tendency is to be happy and positive, and that can throw people off. They're like, are you always that way? And it's like, well, of course I'm not. I can be a total asshole. It's like, ask my wife or my son. But what I really pay attention to these days is to not project onto other people. And the best answer to your question is, whenever you are asking questions, you are not just in control, you are interesting. The most interesting people are those who are interested. And I have a tendency to overcoach and overspeak. I know that now. So what I've learned to do is I call that the monkey or the clown. So I'm good at seeing my monkeys and my clowns and my demons. And so what I do is I put them in a little box and I see, and if the overtalk monkey shows up, I'm like, I see you, overtalk monkey. I acknowledge you. I recognize you. And right now I don't have a place for you. If I have my not enough or my over complimenter monkey or demon there, it's like I've learned to see the monkeys, and I don't let them control me, but I don't try to control them either. I don't suppress them. To control and suppress is the god panic comes from the suppression of natural instincts. And so I think the bottom line is ask questions. And ask people to ask them, how does that feel? How does that show up for you? How do you think that affects your blah, blah, blah? So when you use the 4-question close and you really want to ask people where they are, where they want to go, what's standing in their way, what they wish they could use, they're not taking advantage of. And that also leads into, do you want me to help you? Do you really want what you say you want, or are you just going to talk about it? Are you interested or are you committed? And so I think that is where the rubber meets the road, is if someone sees you as an authentic coach who holds them to a high standard and asks great questions, you are naturally going to be a leader. They're not going to be thinking, oh, he talks too much. He's too over complimenting. It's like, right?
Right. Yeah. That's so true. The question form puts you in a position of authority in a way too, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Karim, for that question. Many of us think about that, but one thing that I would tell you from our own experience when you are working with people, and especially in coaching, is that service comes first and utmost. So our purpose will push us to know about this. Where do you draw the line? So I'm very happy to see that, because Karim is starting off with his journey with us now, and I'm very excited to see how you're going on that. We have Julia who has one more question. I'm going to take you, Julia, for your question, and then we can move forward with that. So Julia, go ahead.
Actually, it's not a question. It's just a big thank you, Mike. Your talk was inspiring, was exactly what I needed to hear today. I recently went like 3 weeks ago to Costa Rica for a retreat to question myself, what's the next move in my life? And the answer that I came back with is being. and stop doing. And then you
Ah.
said it again today, and you confirmed it to me that this is the road, this is the way, because I've been doing a lot, and I've actually right now I'm investing in 4 coaches and doing, but now again, this is the answer.
Oh.
This is the way. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And the 4
Congratulations.
questions are amazing.
Did you do was your coaching in Costa Rica, was that a plant medicine journey, or was it just with regular coaches?
It was regular, but we had an experiment breakthrough. It's more the respiration, like excessive. So it gave the same result like the,
Yes.
yes, so it was powerful. It was a breakthrough.
Okay. Yeah. I had some friends at Rhythmia last week, and I thought, well, maybe you were there, but yeah, there's congratulations. I think we live in unprecedented times for self-discovery right now, and opportunities to really understand our deep connection with the universe and earth, no matter what pathway you take. And there's so much deep work that's being done right now, so many breakthroughs with the mind that we really are 10 or 15 years away from life extension breakthroughs, the elimination of disease and mental disease as well. I'm super excited. There's just so many opportunities for coaching and transformation. So best time ever to be alive.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Julia. I'm going to allow Ithar to ask a question, and then we can go. I feel like everyone now has their questions going, so it's good.
Okay,
Ithar.
hi everyone. First I would like to apologize because my camera is not working. So Mike, you can imagine who I am.
Oh, good. I'm imagining a incredibly brilliant goddess. So please go on, goddess Ithar.
Okay. So you spoke about human being and human doing, but from a young age, because I'm also a teacher, from a young age, I've been told that you become a being by doing things. So I don't know where we draw a line here.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say that isn't true. So let me reframe it a little bit, and you'll see the progression and why I frame it that way. It's because if you think about value, human value, or any kind of value in the world, and that converts into energy or power. And if you think of the universal state of being and consciousness, and whether it's God consciousness, spirituality. So I'm going to get super woo-woo on you here, but at a low level, if all you did every day is flip burgers or cracked rocks, anyone can do that. It is a replaceable, and there's a difference between being a mason or a crafts person, right? But someone who's doing routine tasks that could be replaced by a robot. That has very low value. And the next level up would be what I would consider white collar work. So let's pretend you are an accountant, okay? So, or what, I'll call it a bean counter. So where you're doing a task with your mind, and it might be specialized, but again, it's a form of meat tasks. In other words, you're hiring meat to do a job. It's a human robot, okay? Now, if you get into a being level, that would be, you've discovered something truly unique, your unique ability, your unique skill set, and you could be the best in the world at it. All right. You could, let's say an influencer, for example, it's a combination of your talent, your charisma. So if you were like Adele, for example, or Madonna or Elton John, you could say that is a beingness profession, but that to me, it extends into the highest level of being a human expression. So again, just to be clear here, a human being, to be fully in your body, to be present, to be a charismatic and caring. It doesn't mean you're famous, but it's sort of like you want that person. But someone who's fully expressed, someone who's got incredible control over their voice, discipline, maybe they are a true gifted individual at the piano or whatever they do, and you can feel God through them. You know, you feel like, what an incredibly expressed human who feels they're at their peak, and they're willing to be naked, in the sense of they don't fear judgment. That I think is the highest state of being in a godlike state in a human form. And so, and you recognize that, you notice it when someone is fully being or fully expressed. And so I think when you see someone, like if you've ever watched like America's Got Talent or any of those shows, and you're driven to tears, I think that's human expression at its finest. And so I think as a coach, when people feel this authentic connection with you, and you can feel into them, and you know exactly how to guide someone to where they can be at their highest state, whether it's being state or expression state, that, you know, you've got your heart into what you're doing, and you can feel someone fully. You know, it extends beyond the senses. That is my long-winded answer to that question. I hope that helped you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now I understand, like being ourselves and what we are doing, basically. Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed when I see people choosing to do meat tasks. It seems like a waste to me.
Yeah, it is indeed. Thank you very much for that, Mike. Every single time someone is asking more questions, I'm like, I need to write notes about this. I need to keep up with this information. I really am appreciative for the time that you're taking and the information that you shared and the value. And if anyone would think about how much Mike has shared tonight, think about how much he has learned from others as well. And this is the power of the community that we have tonight, is that we're all learning from each other. We're all looking to grow together as well. With that being said, I would love for you all to stay in. Mike, would love for you to stay in. We're just going to stay in this room. Usually we'll go into breakout rooms, but tonight we're going to keep all together. And what we're going to do is we'll jump into the mastermind, where we're all going to start working together to plan for our upcoming year together. If this is the first time that you join in, it's going to be a very interesting experience for you. This is highly engaging, so I highly recommend for you to open up your cameras. Feel free to unmute yourselves because we're going to discuss together. Thank you very much for everyone who joined in tonight. Mike, you're getting a lot of love in the comment section, so I'm very happy to see that everyone enjoyed that. Also, one more thing, please give us feedback and give feedback to the presentation that we had tonight so that we can work on enhancing for next time. So you're going to notice there's a link that was shared by Dr. Maria, our Vice President, into what are some of the ideas that you want us to enhance for next time. So go ahead and take your time to fill it out. With that being said, allow me to introduce one of our team members, Abir, who's going to lead in about the mastermind and tell us a bit more about how we're going to share with that. So she's our project manager. She's a beautiful lady who keeps us all in tune when it comes down to preparing for these events. So I'll give it over to you, Abir. Prepare everyone a pen and paper because Abir is going to give us some work to do.
Hello, everyone. I joined you late because I came from work, but I'm happy there is a record so I can rewatch it. Today we'll talk about vision board. And I think by end of the year, they start talking, what is your resolution for next year? And most probably start to make a list. And this list, maybe you have not a list, notebook. Anything you didn't finish in the past year, you would like to finish next year. So when people say vision board, I think you think about something like this, or maybe something like this. Something like this, something like this, or like this. Is it right? So this is what you expect. We will do the vision board. Unfortunately, we are not doing this thing. Because this thing, you will do it now. You will say, I will do it on Canva, Pinterest, whatever is it, and I will put it in my cell phone as an image or a screensaver. I watch it on my computer whenever. But let's be honest. Are you going to check it? Are you going to share it with the people to support you 100%? Or there is some part of it secret, you'd like to keep it for yourself? We all have secret agenda. I realize by age, it's something good to have it. So in order to avoid all these things, I need to replace this vision board with one word. I need this word to be your theme for this year. For example, for 2021, my word was breathe. Literally, just breathe. Take inhale, exhale. Open my chest to the word. I didn't take it as a breathe as a process. I take it as, okay, it's a moment to pause, to relax, to take a step backward, then think. I don't need to take action right away. This is my word was for 2021. In the past week, when start people asking about resolution, how was like 2021 and these things, and before I move for that part, I shared it with someone. He reminded me with my word for the year whenever I need it. And the benefit is this word is with me. I carry it everywhere. I don't need to open my cell phone or wait for my screensaver, or I check my board. So if I'm outside or travel or what, I don't need, it's just one word. I carry it with me everywhere I go. And I share it with someone, remind me of it. For 2022, my word is slow. It doesn't mean I need to slow speed. I wouldn't exceed the limit. No. I need to learn how to delegate things, how to enjoy the moment, how to be more present. So then take the word as its definition, give it your own definition. When I heard this one, I remember someone last year said their word will be abundance. I said, okay, what it will be? Just the money? In other words, no, they take it farther to fit them. They take abundance about love, about a friend, about social activity, about their work. They spread it in their own ways. For tonight, I need you to think about one word that you will use it as your theme for the 2022. And give it not the definition in Oxford Dictionary. You can use it as a reference, but I need you to be creative and use your own definition, how you would like apply it in your life. I know it will be hard to summarize 1 year in one word, but I need this word to be just exercise. You might change your word like after this meeting, when you sit up and know like what you want to do. But I need you to think about one word as a like general one you would like to take it and put your definition. This is one thing. The other, I would like to put a name of person you would like to share this thing, your accountability, your support. This is important. It's important as the word itself. Because when we are like in a hard situation, we forget everything, even when we forget our names. So let's have this person. Since we now 8:09, so we have until 8. Do you need 5 or 10 minutes? What do you prefer?
We can take 5 minutes and we can see the samples.
Okay. So I have here, I will put like a few adjectives, positive word. I try to ask Google for positive words. You can choose some of them or like this more and try to select one, put your meaning for it. What do you want? Where do you want to apply it in your life? And the person who will support this journey with you. It's 8:10. I will go for 8:16. So you have 6 minutes to do it. Enjoy the process, and all of us will be seated in love seat, and I would like to hear your words. and learn from your experience with it. So it's 8:16. It's time to stop sharing my screen and see all these faces who would like to start and share. I saw a lot of people, they share in the chat, but would like to hear your word, what is behind it, and who's your accountability buddy. Who would like to start?
I think
Might as well start.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so my thoughts around this was a bit more focused. So and the key areas around that would be a lot more focus for my clients to make sure that they get better outcomes for who I work with. But secondly, most important, is a bit more focus with my family. You know, as you all know, we're all going through challenging times, and the year has taken its toll, I think, on the mindset of a lot of my family, and we've got to talk around a lot of the stuff. So there's got to be a bit more focus around that. And then also in the wider community that I deal with, there's a whole lot of areas that people are still very unclear about, and we just need to make sure that we're focusing on the right things. I guess one of the accountabilities is for me is to make sure that I actually do the focus, because once I do, I know that even my own business and my life will be enriched further. And I guess it's for me to make sure that I stick to those principles over the year.
Thank you. I like how you apply it in your life, personal life, and in your career. So I really appreciate the way you do it. Who's next? Would like to go next? Yes, Julia.
Yes, my word is impact. I'll be sharing it with my business partner. And impact also, I will share the same opinion, like David, that it's going to be first impacting myself every single morning, every single day, and spreading it to my family, my kids specifically, and then all the way to the world by making the world a better place. This is my word. Thank you.
Thank you. And I like what is behind it. Rima.
Hi, guys. My word for this year is actually empower. And when I say empower, first I mean empower myself. So my mind, my body, my health, and all of that. Then definitely the second level will definitely be my family. So empower my 2 teenage boys who are going and doing their big things in life at a young age. So there's that, and then empowering everybody that I actually meet along the way, my business partners, the people that are around me. Definitely, Julia, the word impact and empower have similarities in them, and it's funny that we get to choose those words. I know Julia also separately, so it's yeah, we're off to spreading good vibes and good energies in this world, and this is what I want to do. So. But first, it starts with us.
Yeah. I don't know you will ever like apply it, and it's become like really year for empowering everything around you. Who's next? Who has a word like to share it with us? Who has a story behind his word would like to share it with us?
I saw some people shared on the chat. Maybe Ethar, if you want to go for it, she shared as well.
Yes, I can. Hi, everyone, again. So yes, my word for 2022 is aspiring. Behind that, it's just because I feel like the year of 2022 will be a year for me, and not challenging in a bad way, not struggling. There will be not struggles, but I will take a lot of decisions, either professionally or personally. So I will be very ambitious and very active, professionally and personally as well. So so yeah, that's why it's very important for me, that word. Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Let's give a hope. I'm sure you will do it.
Yeah.
I think also Maria shared your word in the chat. Do you want to go ahead and share it with us?
Or so my word is going to be bold. I have another 2 words that I'm going to keep a secret, but it's bold because, you know, it's really easy to be like vanilla, to try to please everyone. And you just got to be bold with your business, with who you are, your personal development, and really get to where you want to be. And that's going to be me in 2022.
Sure. Hopefully you will do it.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to share?
I want to encourage Elizabeth. She joined us late for the meeting, but I want to encourage her to share with us, and maybe we can also hold her accountable for her word.
Hi, I was about to speak. Thank you for mentioning my name. Hi, everyone. And big hi for Reem. So thank you for accepting me in. I have chosen a word. I have many words, but one of them that is mentioned in the box is active. I choose being active. It comes from my background because I was a trainer, but it has more impact than that. Active in the meaning of moving forward in life. Whatever circumstances we face, whatever problems we face, no matter how deep we go in, we should be active. We should move forward and never look back on what hurts. That's the first thing that came on my mind. So I choose to be active in 2022, from now actually, and to think ahead for the future and to stay positive. And I choose to share it with everyone who have faced any obstacles before or who needs support in his life, because that's how Reem supported me when I needed a friend. And I am thankful so much, and I will be thankful every day, and I will remind her every day how that night that she stayed up with me on the phone was very respectful, and it made her a friend that I will keep forever. So yeah, that's active. That's my word.
Thank you. I like how you put your touch in it.
Thank
it's
you.
Like, yeah, like literally, it's like you add something for it. I wish we can contact Oxford Dictionary to add all these definitions for the words, because I think this is what really now we need it. We don't need the definition for words. Someone did it a long time ago. We need to create our own dictionary. My objective was from this one is to tell you, like, whatever you have, you can create your own dictionary. You can create the future, you have it. It's not necessary to have a picture and put it in the wall. You create your wall. You create that wall by yourself. You create the word. You transfer everything from bad to good just by being you. And we have another one. Who would like to go? I think Elizabeth done.
Andrian wants to go next.
Andrian, yes. Sorry. Andrian.
I'll make it short. I just want to say that for the last years, I was and I am already attentive, accessible, and adaptable. So for the next years, I also want to be more active about more and more new ways to be able to serve the person that comes to me, because I'm a coach. I'm a kind of coach. Reem knows about that. And to be able to continue and to have good results, I also have to do a few things for me, because I know that I do a lot for my customers now. So we don't have the word active, but towards me, I think could be a good way to say it.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Anyone?
I want to share something. There's also Sola. She just came in, so we'll brief you, Sola, what's going on. just for you to know. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Joining in. Good, you got us. We're
morning.
still going on, so don't worry, you didn't miss out much. Only 2 hours of a lot of things you'll watch in the recording.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
We're doing, by the way, we're choosing a word that would describe for you this upcoming year, 2022. So maybe you can brainstorm and think about what would be one word that you can use for yourself for this year. So
Should
think
I
about
Should I tell you now?
Yeah, go for it. If you have it ready, go for it.
Well, success.
What does it mean for you, success?
It's achieving a goal, a special goal that I want to do it. I want to achieve for the coming year, and realizing a target. So I'll tell you later about it.
Okay, how you can apply it for your personal life?
It will bring me balance to my personal life.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you for that, Sula. I'm just gonna jump in because we're almost reaching to 8:30, and I want to do a quick announcement before Abir wraps up for the session. Thank you so much, Abir. This was amazing. I feel so inspired, empowered, and I'm so blessed. I feel the love. I want to share one thing before we start wrapping this up. There are 3 people in this room right now who are actually my coaches. Like, they coached me, and I've worked with them on different aspects. One of them is Andrea, coach. I've worked with her on my vocal variety. I've worked with her as a speaker to enhance my speaking skills. There's also Dr. Maria. I've worked with her as my preventive lifestyle medicine coach. So she helped me a lot with my health. And also Julia. I've worked with her a lot on embracing myself, empowering myself, and so on. So I'm sharing this with you guys to see that even the people that you look up to, the people that you think are people who could do so much in their lives, they surround themselves with a team. And there was a saying that a friend of mine always used to tell me, that you need to consider yourself as Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had so many coaches that supported him to reach to where he is today. And that's the reason of us doing this tonight, of us supporting each other, because we can help each other out in ways that we couldn't find it anywhere else. So just to announce before Abir goes ahead and closes up on this as well, is that we're going to create a private chat, a private group that's going to be more personalized for the people who are joining in tonight, other than the community chat that we have, where we're going to be holding each other accountable throughout 2022. So it's going to be a safe space for each and every one of you to share what challenges you might be facing, what other opportunities you might be looking forward to. You can feel free not to join if that's something you're not interested in, but that would be something we're going to start off within the community now. So I just wanted to jump in, share that with you all, and share my word, which is going to be a bit weird. You guys are going to be like, what is this word? But my word is actually space. And why am I going to use the word space? And I want each and every one of you to hold me accountable for it, is because I want to hold space for myself, space for growth, allow for that room, but also I want to create a space for others to come into my life. So that's going to be my word. If something has no space in my life, I'm going to say no to it. If there is space for it in my life, I'm going to say yes to it. So that's going to be my word. And I hope each and every one of you will hold me accountable for it, because you all mean to me so much. I'll give it back to you, Abir, to wrap it up. If you have to leave, I know it's 8:30, to respect the timing, please don't be shy. It was beautiful to have each and every one of you with us tonight. And I'm really looking forward to see you all in our upcoming events next year. So Abir, you can take it away. And then we can wrap it up.
Thank you everyone for sharing your word. The only thing I know, like Reem said, we will create a group, but also from my side, if you want, you can send me your word and you tell me, like, do you want me monthly to check how's your word going? 3 months, I'm willing to commit it for it. It will be something, it's not because I feel I would like to do it, it's because I'm seeking for inspiration from you. I would like to learn from you. I learned what does impact mean, what does empower mean, what does active mean. So I would like to learn. So I do it for myself and for you. And I'm the first person you will impact, you will empower, you will make it active. So if you would like someone to be also like, beside you're the person you decide to be your accountability buddy, just contact me through social media. So this is my word. Please contact me monthly, every 3 months, weekly. I will put it in my calendar. I will do my best to do it. If I didn't do it, if I don't do it, that means something happened to me. Because my boss, when I'm late, he said, he's always think I hit by car. So it's like, this is his mind. So imagine how much I'm so sharp with my time. Thanks for being here. And I wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and looking forward to see all of you and hear about all your stories next year. And it's time to say goodbye for 2021. And please, when you could say goodbye, say it in a good way. Remember the good thing and look for any bad moment as lesson learned. If you cannot able say goodbye, but we don't say anything bad, because it will break something bad for you. Have a good night and see you next year.
Thank you everyone for joining in, sending you all the love. You can unmute yourself and say bye-bye to each other.
Bye, thank you.
Bye guys, thank you,
Bye,
that was great.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining
Bye.
in. See you all soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hola, I'll see you next time. It's earlier.
Yes, sorry, I was late. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrian, for coming in.
My pleasure.
You didn't get bored of me today? We had
Oh, no. 2 times a day, that's okay.